What do the Minnesota Vikings do with Anthony Barr? Now, Anthony Barr, he only played one game this 2020 season. And after that, we saw Eric Wilson as our starting outside linebacker start 15. Eric Wilson had a better season in 2020 than Anthony Barr did in 2019. And at the moment, Eric Wilson, 2017 undrafted free agent, is now a free agent, an unrestricted free agent in 2021 offseason. He is going to be a starter next year. Whether it's with the Vikings or not, he is going to be a starter next year. Because he's 28, he's a young player. He hasn't played a whole lot. I guess 28 isn't young, but I'll count him as a young player because he only played a couple seasons in the NFL, meaning that he's got a long way to go. Eric Wilson's going to be a starter next year in the NFL as an outside linebacker. Is it going to be with the Vikings? I sure hope so, but possibly not. I mean, Anthony Barr is Mike Zimmer's guy. It was his first draft pick. Mike Zimmer in 2015, I think. It was his first draft pick. Anthony Barr is his guy. And I think Anthony Barr just wants to play in Minnesota. I mean, of course, his guy, Eric Kendricks, as well. They were roommates in college. The whole story goes on like that. But what's better for the team? I mean, Anthony Barr at the moment, what is he expected to make? $11,750,000, somewhere around there. He's expected to make a lot of money. And this was a team-friendly deal that they signed a couple years ago. Now, these last two seasons, Anthony Barr, it was very understandable. I mean, he didn't make much money these last couple seasons, considering how good of a player he was before he signed this contract. I mean, his peak is higher than Eric Wilson's peak is what I'm trying to say. Who do you stick with, Anthony Barr or Eric Wilson? Because right now, Eric Wilson, out of 15 starts in the NFL, these are this 2020 season, I guess he started other games, 62 solo tackles, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumbles, and 3 interceptions. That is a tremendous season from Eric Wilson, especially considering he was our backup outside linebacker. Now, right now, he is an unrestricted free agent this offseason. He can play for another team next year or play with the Minnesota Vikings, but he's going to be a starter. So what do you do with Anthony Barr? Do you trade him away? Because I don't know anyone that's going to pay that much money for Anthony Barr. He's getting paid a lot of money now, and he's with the Minnesota Vikings contract through 2023, and he's expected to make a lot of money, and that's going to be a cap casualty for the Vikings. It's undoubtedly the Vikings are better off with Eric Wilson. I mean, Anthony Barr may be better. We've seen how Anthony Barr has played. Now, when you're judging off of his last season, I guess you can say right now Eric Wilson does look better. But once again, we've seen what Anthony Barr can do, and he's just not being used properly. If you ask me, I feel like they're not rushing him enough. As when it was his rookie season, his first couple seasons, he looked a lot better because they were using him properly. Anyways, when you look at him now, he's just not being used properly, if you ask me. But at the same time, Vikings got to move on because we saw how good this linebacker group is. Now, you look at these last few seasons, these last few games where the Vikings played, they were just using a bunch of practice squad guys, free agent guys. You don't want to count those games. Count when Eric Kendricks was there. When Eric Kendricks, Eric Wilson, and Troy Dye were there, they were the only pieces we had on defense. I mean, our cornerbacks were all young and they didn't look great. Our safety group, Harrison Smith, looked great, but Anthony Harris did not have a great season. Outside of that, we had no other safeties out there. Our defensive line, worst in the NFL. I mean, they couldn't rush the passer or stop the run. The Vikings had one of the worst defenses in the NFL in the 2020 season, but our linebacker group looked really good. And this linebacker group, without Anthony Barr, looked better this 2020 season. With Eric Wilson looking good, with Eric Kendricks looking good, and with Troy Dye showing promise. Troy Dye was like my favorite draft pick of 2020. Now, I only like those late round draft picks. Those are like always my favorites when you can hit on one of those late round draft picks. He was 5th round, I'm pretty sure. Or 4th or 5th round, somewhere around there. But that's a good spot to grab a linebacker. There's a lot of linebackers in every draft. Anyways, Troy Dye does look solid. Eric Wilson will be a starter next year. With the Vikings or not, he will be a starter next year. So what do the Vikings do with Anthony Barr is the question. Because you can trade him maybe. If you can find a trading spot, I would take anything for Anthony Barr. But if you can't trade him, say nobody wants Anthony Barr. Say nobody's going to trade for Anthony Barr. Do you cut him or do you keep him another season? Because we've seen he's better than Eric Wilson. We've seen that. Now, when you're judging off of the last 2 seasons, once again, we have seen that Anthony Barr, when he's hit his ceiling, when he's hit his highest potential, he is better than Eric Wilson. But he's a cap casualty. He's holding a lot against the Vikings. And there's big needs the Vikings have this offseason. Defensive line and O-line is our biggest needs this offseason, not using Anthony Barr another season. So I would cut Anthony Barr if you cannot find a trade spot and keep Eric Wilson. Let me know what y'all think.